Hi, Leah. Welcome to Mars in your sign. Welcome to April 2025. This reading is all about Mars being in your 12th house and then moving into your sign. Ooh. All right. Three of Pentacles first up. We're going to talk about love, how you relate to the different signs, work, money, health. It's all in the extended. This is just about Mars. Having Mars retrograde in the 12th and then direct in the 12th. Or if it's Leo natal sun instead of Leo rising, then right behind you. And now having Mars move into your sign, it's three different sets of changes and not small ones either. So first up, we have that Three of Pentacles. This denotes a financial stability. Knight of Swords. Your dreams have transformed. I think you've gone from knowing exactly what you didn't want to knowing exactly what you do want. There's that Cancerian energy that's been chasing you. It's no secret that the past, even if you're quite young, the past 10 years have been tumultuous. It may have felt at times like you were being held hostage, either in a family situation, parents who were too concerned with themselves, a marriage or a relationship where you figured out too late that the other person is maybe incapable of thinking about anyone but themselves. Or you've been deeply disillusioned by people you took to be your community, your friends, your group of strangers that you thought had become family. In one aspect or another, your life was deeply changed in that you moved forward from that situation knowing exactly what you didn't want and what you wouldn't do again. But that's not really the same as knowing what you want at all. And it may have led to a period of a few years that feels like vigorously treading water. You're using all your energy, but all you're getting as output is more confirmation of what you don't want. What can happen over time, let's say 3 years, is that this dedication to what you're averse to can be confining. This is a solitary act. It actually pushes people away. But it makes sense because everything that you're giving off has to do with what you don't want to happen again, don't want to be near, don't want getting on top of you again, don't want to be infected with again. And of course, because you're a Leo and you're a fixed sign, that element that you ran from, that you have continuously run from, has to do with control. Leo learns the hard way at some point in life that everyone wants to control the bright, shiny trophy, but nobody really gives a fuck about the trophy having feelings or not. And the disillusionment that follows may have played out in your life in the last few years, which gave you such staunch conviction in what should not happen again. Maybe for a while that was energizing. It's good to swim hard, until you realize you're not getting anywhere. And then perhaps you had a little while where realizing that you weren't getting anywhere got really tiring as well. And then you just feel stuck. So Mars enters your sign, goes retrograde, goes back into Cancer, and gets all the way into your subconscious. What is it that is really bothering you? Says Mars. Yeah, I know what you don't want. Yeah, I know what you're running from. Yeah, I know it looked like the most stable thing from the outside, or before you got into it, or before you committed to it, but then it all unfolded before you and didn't make a lot of sense. One thing I know about Leos is that things need to make sense. You're actually quite logical creatures. So, something like Mars retrograde in the 12th is kind of a nightmare. It's logical, but not according to the rules of this world. One day you're fine, the next day you're crying your eyes out. The next day the energy is back at 100 until sometime in the afternoon you remember something from the past, and then there comes the dip. Mars in Cancer has taken all of us for a ride. Not a pleasant one, but you most of all. And it's so deeply personal. This is not stuff you want to talk to anybody about. I mean, how do you even talk about it without reiterating something that you've probably said 100 times already? Because you're also keenly aware of how other people feel. You don't want to bore people with stuff that you wish you could forget yourself. In fact, you can get kind of sick of yourself in this period where it's like, oh, I don't even want to hear myself talk about this anymore. I don't want to hear myself think about this anymore. Why am I still thinking about this? Now, it could be that this also manifested as a person contacting you, a person you know, someone they know, the person themselves showing up. But all it does is it reconfirms what you already know, that it wasn't the way to go. And that's pretty much most of March. It's like trying to figure out why all this is coming up and using it as a confirmation of what you don't want to do again, over and over again, ad nauseum. But now, we are in a fire season. Welcome, fire, to fire. And it is a time where you can begin to build forward. Mars will re-enter your sign in the middle of the month. And even now, because it is direct, it's getting better. But as it re-enters your sign, it will get really, really good. Joy, communication, going out, meeting people. It becomes very high on your list of things to get done, and it's wonderful, and you excel at it. I mean, if anyone knows how to shine. So it's good. It feels good. It feels like direction. It feels like being stuck in swirling quicksand and somebody pulls you out. It's great. And it's a large leap forward because you begin to want again instead of not wanting. Not wanting is still valid. We're going to hold on to all that. We don't want to make the same mistakes again. But it takes a back seat. Wanting, ambition, plans, excited about the future, letting the past die. not the lesson, but the emotional charge of that past is gone. And it's surprisingly gone, because I think most of you thought that that sting would be there forever. I mean, the only thing I can liken it to is like when you get used to your eye burning, because you just think it's like burning, and then you like wash your eye out and the pain is immediately gone. And you're like, oh my God, something was like literally stinging. What the fuck was I doing? That. It's a pain that's annoying and actually in a really sensitive place, but you learn to live with it, because what can you do? And then you realize, oops, there is something I could do about it. But that's okay, because you couldn't have done it before now. But now you've done it. And the scary part's over. And it's okay to dream big. It's okay to dream big about relationships, about work and money and success. It's okay to dream big enough to get excited. And excitement, joy, true joy, celebration has been missing for a minute, right? It just came with too many scary what ifs. But not anymore. Mars has gone back and done all the research, bitch. Sure, you're motivated. Sure, you're going to celebrate. Sure, you may even want to, go crazy and get engaged or something. But you've gained a wisdom. You've sat way, way, way back. You've leaned way, way, way back from the world. And you've watched. And I think what you learned is going to stay with you forever. Of course, it's a personal journey, so I don't know everything you've learned, but one thing I do know that has become cemented in your character is to never let someone mistreat you again, or think lowly of you, or speak to you in a way that isn't just utter respect. Nothing less. You've figured out, from sticking to knowing what you didn't want, it's a winding road from there to figuring out who you are, but you took that road. And you were steadfast. You didn't hop off and take an easier road and just go be a trophy somewhere. You tried that, and that shit didn't work. So you stayed the course, even when it got really lonely. And here you are. April is like being handed a bouquet of flowers. It's enormously successful for you, but it's also so welcoming, so warm, so reassuring. You feel yourself on fire and coming back to life, and being able to attract, if you haven't already, being able to attract something that's very close to something you might have thought you had to give up on. The sneaky part about the time you've spent focusing on what you didn't want is that I think it slowly ate at your dreams as well. Leos are very traditional. They have this ideal of what a wonderful life is and how it can be. And the more you had to remind yourself of what not to do again, the more I think that dream died. But not anymore. When you take the lesson and you move on from the person, the people, the situation, like I said, it loses its charge. Consequently, you feel yourself starting to dream again. You start to believe again. It doesn't even take very long to get going. And by Sagittarius season, I think you'll feel, inshallah, very fulfilled. Very fulfilled, because you can get back to who you really are. Mars in your sign, having done so much research into your past, Mars enters your sign and says, hey, I didn't realize it, but I've looked at the books and you've been through a lot. Maybe this is a good time to go out there and really catch fire and have some fun. Make some new memories. Try some new commitments. Dream new dreams for yourself. Dreams that don't wither and die on the vine because you can't trust anybody. That's the other really great thing. All of Aries season shows you how good people can be, how kind they can be, how loving they can be, how helpful they can be. And this is such a wonderful way to enter the summer, the spring and the summer. You don't have to, and if you're still playing it small, if you're still in that period where you're not trusting people and you can't bring yourself to get over the heartache of a failure, a failed relationship, a failed business, whatever it is, and you're holding on really, really tight, don't worry. These opportunities are so bold and in your face, they'll just come right up to you and hand themselves to you. But I would suggest that there is something you can do to make it easier for yourself. And that is to get some rest. Perhaps take a sabbatical. Perhaps just take a 3 or 4 day, like some people do Vipassana, right? Where you just are quiet. I have a Leo friend right now who's going to be just focusing on God and praying for like the next 5 days. It's a great way to reset, however much you can do. This is 5 days of silence. It's 10 minutes of meditation in the morning. It's 20 minutes of yoga. Whatever you want that Four of Swords to be, it will transmute whatever financial hang-up still ties you to the past. But more than that, the Four of Pentacles is, I don't want to change. I don't know. I went through a lot, you know. I'm not ready to switch this up again and then start believing people again or put myself in that position again. It's okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's totally human, totally normal, and completely justified. But it's not living. Yes, you're here to learn lessons. No, you shouldn't make the same mistakes over and over again, but that's life. Sometimes we make the same mistakes, sometimes we make new mistakes. Sometimes we pay for it, sometimes we get away with it. But every single time, you're going to learn. And if you can learn and let the rest go, which you will learn through this Four of Swords here, the opportunities will be so obvious and so in your face. But not if you're still stuck. In Aries season, everything is pushing you to let go of the past in every way and move forward a smarter, more savvy person. Anything less than that will create the sort of friction that really hurts internally. You can hurt your own feelings big time right now. Let me explain to you how. Say, for example, there is somebody around you that you really want. You really, really want this person and you wish this person would be, you know, that person for you. That they're so obvious and upfront about how they feel about you and what they want from you, and they're just, and the connection is amazing, and you want so much to be a part of their world, right? Someone who just like suddenly comes out of nowhere. If you embrace this even though the past may not be the most pleasant when it comes to love. If you embrace this, it opens doors for you in many other aspects of your life. If you don't embrace it, if instead this looks like a ploy to you, if instead this looks like a lie to you because it's been a lie before, then there's just no way it can work, even if it's perfect. You've got to decide that wanting things again isn't a sin. You've got to decide when you're put in the position of getting what you want, you've got to decide to put your hand out and take it, because there's so much offered to you in April, but it requires your happy consent. Not your begrudging consent, not your ambivalence. No, this is opportunity after opportunity in many aspects of your life that require you with two hands to take hold of what is given to you and rejoice in it. Of course, keep your high priestess perspective. Of course, get quiet about it and really figure out how it's best for you. But don't run. Don't hide. Don't use the past like a cave you can disappear into, and then it doesn't matter that you didn't have to make a decision, because how can you be betrayed? There's nobody there but you. That solitary life, even if it's just emotional distance, you could be surrounded by people and still be solitary. That solitary life, it's coming to an end. People will begin once again now to encroach on the life that you've made. They want into your heart. They want into your house. They want, Leos are like, no, my layer. They want to be a part of things. And the world, in the nicest way, is going to let you know over and over again that blessings come with these people, with these relationships, with these opportunities. There's no way around that. You can't get the blessings without dealing with the people. The people are bringing them to you. The world wants you back. It misses you. It's like everybody hates the big light in the room until they gotta find something. And then you go running to the big light because you can't see shit. When you're not around, there's just so much we can't find. And I think this is a really nice time to return as well. It's, you know those videos where you see like the cat that's been outside really long time and they're just super traumatized and you can't pet them, you can't even try to feed them, they'll hiss at everything. You know those videos that like make you sob in the middle of the night? It's never the part where the cat's really scared that makes you cry. The part where the cat's really scared and clawing at everything and hissing at everything is fucking understandable. I think we all relate to that one. It's when the cat starts to trust. It's when the cat starts to eat. It's when the cat starts to maybe meow a little. It's when that mangy cat with the infected eyes is all cleaned up and getting better and starts to purr. That moment where you can see, because cats will show their trauma so much more than other animals. Their nature, the way they behave, will show you how traumatized they are. So clearly. It's when a cat that has been that traumatized begins to trust again that we see hope. And even though it's an animal, we relate completely. We all know what it feels like to love again after having your heart broken. We all know what it feels like to trust again after being betrayed. We all know what it's like to laugh again after the worst of things has happened. You know what I quite like? This one sounds sick, but I like when just through an uncomfortable, awkward situation, laughter breaks out at a funeral. So when my younger brother died, a couple of days later, he was in the mosque and you could see his face, and the coffin was there, and a lot of people came. It was a Friday. Alhamdulillah, it was really nice. And I just felt like I had to spend like every second, just standing there by the coffin. I wasn't ready to let him go, And there were a few moments there where I thought that I might just die with him, So maybe that would be easier. And then at one point it got so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt like my knees were going to buckle. I don't know. It was really, really bad for a minute. And out of nowhere, wouldn't you believe, this man walks up in a deer hunting outfit with a trucker cap on and aviator sunglasses. It was the most bizarre sight I've ever seen in my life. I had no idea who it was. He walked in and he took a little Quran, our holy book. He took it out of his pocket and he put it in the coffin with my brother, which, is not allowed. And I was just so stunned that it was happening, because who the fuck is this duck hunter? Like, this dude was in camo. Okay, we literally, nobody recognized him. It turned out it was my mom's older brother, who's just the closest thing you'll ever meet to like a game show host, from like the Muppet Show, like Guy Smiley, like that type shit. And of course the situation spiraled a little bit out of control, because my older brother found out that he put a Quran in the coffin, and he got really mad about that, and then he took it back out and he was like, take this, and nobody realized it was him. And so when we collectively realized who it was, what he had done just completely made sense. Like, you got to know him to understand how that's totally on brand. And in a moment that was just about the worst thing that we could have experienced as a family, we all just started laughing. Because what the fuck are you doing? Why are you like this? When my brother handed him back, or actually my cousin handed him back the Quran and said, you can't do this, here, take this. He took it with one hand and with the other hand gave it to my mom and said, this is a souvenir for you, just completely out of pocket. And it would take me days to go into how inappropriate all of it was. I was totally done out of love. Totally done out of love. The dude's a Leo. Like, totally done out of, he just wanted to help. And he did. Maybe not the way he thought, But in spite of ourselves, we all laughed. I was laughing because Ali would have laughed more than anybody if that had happened to anybody else. And on some level, I think he thought it was hilarious that it was happening at his funeral. It was just so fucking funny. Like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you dressed like that? What's happening? Are you? Mm-mm. But I think it reminded us all, in the midst of just agony, pure agony, how funny life is. And the funniest thing about life is what? The funniest thing about life is that it goes on and on and on and on. And you've had a lot of time to think about this, Leo. And I know you don't want it to go on with you not in the game. I know you don't want it to go on with you just half-heartedly in it. I know that's not what you want. I know you want to play this game to its fullest. And yeah, okay, you had an injury, but lions heal fast. Truth be told, you were probably healed a long time ago. But it's hard to forgive yourself for making mistakes. Which means you've just been poking that wound that would have healed up real nice if you had left it alone. But every time you blame yourself and every time you shame yourself, well, you just pick at it and open it back up. And like I've told you before, I didn't know this myself, but if you pick at a wound long enough, it stops healing. It's like the body recognizes that you want that there. Kind of like getting your ears pierced. And you have kept yourself pierced for so long. But I think the world is done with waiting. It demands your presence now. And if it has to lure you out with romance or opportunity or money and success, it is ready to do so. Because it misses you. Because it's been looking and looking and looking in the dark for something that it can't fucking find. It needs the big light. So if you feel yourself being turned like a bulb, don't fight it. And if it makes you think of everything that you did or was done to you that was wrong, there's just one thing left to do. You've got to forgive yourself. If you want to move, you got to forgive yourself. So much of our passions, so much of our passion leads us down roads that later humiliate us. So much of what we jump into head first later becomes an albatross around the neck. Something that weighs you down, something that won't leave you alone, consequences you keep paying for. Why would I ever want to get back into this? I've been here before. This doesn't go well. But I disagree. The devil is ambition. It's knowing how to be the center. It's knowing how to captivate. The lovers make things happen. They move quickly. They are under the protection of God. They create and they move on so fast from the consequences of that creation, good or bad, that it doesn't matter. The track is too fast to be regretful. Whether you learn a lesson or you gain a friend, a lover, a contract, good or bad, it's gone in a flash because we're just going to keep moving forward. That is super Gemini energy. It's not that we don't know how to enjoy our wins. It's just, what's a win? What's a win anyway? Most of the time, the losses in my life have taught me way more than the wins ever did. Win or lose, it's not the point. The point is you keep moving. And when you keep moving and when your head is screwed on straight, when you know what you want, it's okay to move fast. It's okay to open up a little, to let your feelings out, to let feelings in. Salma Hayek and Fools Rush In, when they're arguing, I probably told you this before, when they're arguing about what to name the baby, she says, I know that the baby's going to be Catholic because I was standing in front of a church at a stoplight when I found out I was pregnant. And Matthew Perry, God rest his soul, says, well, it's a good thing you weren't at an IHOP, which is amazing. And she goes in the bathroom and she's like brushing her teeth and stuff, but she's going nuts. She's taking off her jewelry. She's so incensed by what he said. And she says, my faith, my confidence, my love, it all comes from the same place inside of me. And I think that's really important for you to remember right now. I don't think you get to pour a whole bunch into your ambition if you can't open up about love. I don't think you get to be super vulnerable in love if you can't get ambitious about your life. When a boat leaves harbor, everything has to be in order. Not just the desire to leave harbor. That's not enough. It's not enough that you feel like coming back into the world a little bit. No. The world is very demanding that way. It wants all of you. And it's okay that the last time you were this out in the world, you got burned. That's also okay, especially if it wasn't your fault. So that seems like a complete insanity to do that again. No, I was just minding my business. I got sideswiped by this narcissist fuck. It's okay. It's okay. But it's not an excuse. And there is a fire growing in you in this season that will not let you hide anymore. It wants all of you, and truth be told, you want to give it all again. Of course you do. You're the sun. You just want to shine. Don't take a bad experience, a few bad years, some fucked up parents, a friend that wasn't really a friend. Don't let that take what's yours from you. But baby steps, as the opportunities approach, remember what we talked about. Remember to not judge everything up against what's happened already. I know it's logical, but we're going on faith here a little bit. Everything you want and everything you are, it comes from the same place inside of you. It's all so genuine. And you have been genuinely out of touch, out of the game, in your mind, for very good reason. And I gotta tell you something that'll probably motivate you more than anything else I've said. You know, bitches love that you're sitting on the sidelines. Do you get that? Do you get that there are bitches out here eating your food because you're sitting on the sidelines? Because you got hurt? Because you got rejected? I don't know. Because something bad happened? What's it feel like to watch other people pretend to be the sun? What's it feel like to watch a lizard try to roar like a lion? It can't be that much fun. I'm a Vedic Leo moon. Just talking about this is making me angry. So I know it's like a fire in you, but I mean, really, have you thought about that? Have you thought about how long you've been sitting courtside watching somebody else play you like a character? Something to think about. Because if you're not going to go up on that rock and roar like you're meant to, like you're built to, like you're born to, you can't get mad if a fucking hyena goes up there and starts laughing. But it just isn't the same, is it? It upsets the balance, doesn't it? The lion is the king of the jungle because the lion keeps the balance in the jungle. A hyena can't do what a lion can do, even if it's got a fur coat on, even if it's got a lion's mane. You taking your rightful place amongst us isn't just for your benefit. It isn't just to get you back out in the world. It's because we need it. We got a bunch of bitches out here really feeling like they're doing it. And it doesn't matter why you compromised your happiness. It doesn't matter why you've been hiding. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you're tired of watching people do your fucking job. Take a cookie. I promise by the time you're done eating it, you'll feel right as rain. I love you. I'll see you in the extended.